The former lawyer of the late Mr Lee Kuan Yew is set to face a disciplinary tribunal over alleged misconduct in the handling of his wills. The High Court has ordered that the tribunal be appointed to investigate an additional 2 complaints filed by his children, Mr Hsien and Dr Ling. The siblings had appealed after the Law Society decided to only proceed with one of their 4 complaints against Ms Kim Lee. She prepared 6 of the last 7 wills for Mr Lee Kuan Yew. This is the latest in the long-standing Lee family feud, which involves Prime Minister Hsien.
Ms Kim Lee is set to be investigated by the tribunal on 3 complaints. 1, that she had failed to follow the instructions of the late Mr Lee to destroy his superseded wills. High Court Judge Valerie Hsien has allowed this to be looked at. She notes that since the Council of the Law Society was faced with 2 conflicting views as to whether there was sufficient gravity for a formal investigation, the Council ought to have concluded that a formal investigation by a disciplinary tribunal would be necessary. Another complaint allowed to be looked at, that Ms Kwa had given false and misleading information to the younger Lee siblings in 2 emails sent in 2015. Justice Hsien notes that a tribunal should establish if Ms Kwa's omissions in her emails were deliberate, negligent, or inadvertent. The Law Society had recommended another complaint to a disciplinary tribunal earlier over Ms Kwa breaching privilege and her duties of confidentiality by sending emails with records of communications with the late Mr Lee to Prime Minister Hsien. PM Lee was not an executor of the estate. Justice Hsien did dismiss one complaint, that Ms Kwa had failed to keep proper records of advice given and instructions received from Mr Lee. Justice Hsien ruled that this matter had little gravity. Much of the family feud centres on the late Mr Lee's wills surrounding their home in Oxley Road. The case first surfaced in 2017 when Dr Ling and Mr Hsien published a statement alleging that their brother, Prime Minister Hsien, had abused his powers to prevent the demolition of the family home. And as for the late Mr Lee's final will, it was prepared by Mrs Lee Swetfern, wife of Mr Hsien. She was suspended from legal practice for 15 months last November, after she was found guilty of misconduct in the handling of his will.
Serious cases should be escalated to the Court of 3 judges, where punishments can range from disqualification, suspension and removal of licence. As for today's order for a disciplinary tribunal to look into lawyer Kim Lee's conduct, the Law Society says it will study the High Court's decision before deciding on the appropriate course of action.